Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great day today. Um, so the video Pulsechain has failed, but it's not over, right? So what we're starting to see around the space is we're seeing uh, seasoned crypto investors, we're seeing content influencers do these videos that are now talking about the shortcomings of Pulse so far, uh, why they feel that there's going to be a problem down the road, and basically outlining some of the problems that they feel are going to be long term problems, right? So just to put out full disclosure, I was like day one sacrificing for Pulse and Pulse X. So, you know, obviously, some of the narratives that are being put out there that it's either that people are for Pulse or against Pulse. You know, obviously, it's much more complicated than that. You know, just to kind of explain it to, and I think I'm pretty much going to just be doing this to like the newer people in cryptocurrency, maybe the newer people to join Hex and Post Chain on the back end and such, to help y'all understand why it seems like some content influencers, some of the community doesn't just jump all the way with the rah rah on board and go, yeah, just say these positive things about the projects and it'll make us all money. If you have money in, if you're holding a bag, why won't you just go with the program? Be patient, go with everything, and everything will work out. And in a perfect world, that is how how things would work. But just to give y'all some perspective, what many of y'all don't see, why many are starting to react the way they do and do the content they do, and try to give a more broad view of how to look at these cryptocurrency projects. The reason that is because many of us over the years have done that. We've already tried that approach several times. Uh, we have all been guilty of over promoting our own bags. We've all been guilty of talking only good about projects we got the most money in and hope that if everybody just hyped it up, it's going to create a exit strategy for us, right? So what we do is, which what many of us will do, is we will just, uh, stay on the positive because why would we talk about negative things, right? If it's going to hurt our bags in the long run, right? And so that's the idea behind it. Here's the problem, though, and here's why many of us no longer do that or never did it. And the reason being is that we found that in doing that, not addressing the problems in the beginning, not giving you guys the tools and information on how to shift and how to realistically look at this. Not only are we not providing you good value as channel viewers, we're not giving you all the tools you need. Uh, Not only aren't we doing that, but it is also that many times in other approaches to this or that type of approach, what's happened is those problems come back and they have lasting effects, right? They haven't been solved. They come back and we began to see the deterioration of the projects later on. And it happens all the time. And so what some of us have decided to do, some of us have decided to produce content with a lot more integrity, which I think is getting hard. It's very hard to do in cryptocurrency, especially the YouTube channel guys that need this, right? That depend on this. Some of these guys probably depend on this to make a living, right? And they're out putting videos every day, doing 10-hour streams and editing videos and such, and investing in that said cryptocurrency project, hoping it's gonna give them a comfortable life, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, provided that that's how things work out. The problem is people who are veterans and have seen every way you can come at these things have realized that these aren't solutions. And so this is why we do this. It doesn't mean that we're against post chain or for it. It just means that the data would suggest that we have overlooked something. And these are those somethings that are going to hurt you later down the road. And so to discuss why I think Pulsechain has failed, just to kind of drive it home, just so you get the full picture, is because number one, it fails at its original reason for creation, and that was to reduce gas emission fees, right there, to reduce them. Uh, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think now Pulsechain at the very least is going to be uh, value wise or trade wise or fee wise on par with many other high end Ethereum chains, right? Or fork chains and such, right? In fact, it's probably going to be the second highest next to Ethereum in fee structure, in my opinion. And that to me is a failure in that it doesn't satisfy its reason for creation. Because remember, post chain creation wasn't to get you rich. My idea was Hex was already doing that, right? So Hex, you didn't need anything else to get really rich over. Hex would have done that for you if you believe in the Richard Hart system, right? So getting in post for any other reason, structure wise, I think would be a failure. Um, I think the other reason post is going to lead to failure is the high fees are actually creating less a participatory economy, as to say, many of the ideas to get people into Hex or the post community being able to pick this stuff up where more people can invest in it, where the fees are going to be still fairly high. And so you have a similar problem with what you had over at Ethereum in the first place. Also, the next thing why Post fails is, and this has always been a problem. This is an inherent problem, and that is that the way that the wallets work in the Ethereum based applications, now the Post applications, these aren't easy onboarding tools, right? These aren't easily accessible tools, right? As to say, people aren't going to just pick up and be using and syncing and learn knowing how to manipulate gas reduction fees, right? As such, people aren't going to be doing that. So basically, what that means is that as far as the future of Pulse, right? Uh, People are just going to probably go away from it. It's going to be just like how hard it is to get an Ethereum, right? But maybe even worse because Post's going to be less well known, right? Uh, so those are just some of the basic reasons it's failed, and I'm sure people are putting out a ton more reasons, right? Whether it be something specifically to Richard Hart and his ownership of the chains, as they're putting out and such, right? But that's another video for another day, because the other part of the video is talking about it's not over, even in that. And this is the part I think we want to focus on. I think this is the balanced part of the video where we're talking about not so much post chain in itself and what it's tried to do, or the Richard Hart ecosystem or his coins, but what possibly new projects could do on there that aren't so concerned about the transaction fees, or where people are just trying to probably make large sums of money. So the applications that are going to be available on there, or maybe even some like Bitcoin MYKR project that's going to be on there that might figure out a way to make it a lot user friendly to solve these problems, to help people come in. And we're going to explain a little bit about how we see that, and why we feel all that's important. So many of these new great projects that have been or soon will be may find themselves on the Post chain, right? And that could make Post a very valuable asset, right? Even though as a chain, not doing anything Ethereum and the others have done or can't do, but just in its own kind of right, in its own ecosystem, coming up and creating good projects within the space, right? So that could still make it valuable to holders of the post chain coins and so on. So by no means does it mean because I'm saying something like Pulsechain will fail, that means that dollar value, it won't make money, or something like that. I think in the long run it could lead to total systemic failure, but we could be talking years and years down the road. In the short term, uh, my belief and focus now would be that new projects might create a good situation outside of worrying about high transactional fees for this, right? So Bitcoin MYK is one way that the problem could probably be solved. We're going to explain to you real quick why that is. Bitcoin MYK will have a presence on Pulsechain, but here's the problem. Pulsechain would be the less attractive blockchain for us. So that means that it's going to be one the less focused on, right? As to say, we will have a community presence there to help out the Pulsechain ecosystem, but the efficiency of Pulsechain is so bad that it wouldn't be our first choice. It's just so many free blockchains we function on that operate well within the tenets of our system. But as I think people are starting to receive our message and people are starting to respond, and it makes a lot of sense why they should. We're going to read some of the things that are happening. People are now coming on and trying to understand why this is a solution, and why I think everybody's going to end up on here as we're beginning to see people come on and such. So this user here, Mellow Fan, who just got an account. I don't think he even understand that he's already got his wallet, he got his account, he's already earning money. He doesn't, and that's the beauty of Bitcoin MYK, that unlike a MetaMask wallet where you really got to know what you're doing and you got to be Einstein-like genius to even use the thing for most people, Bitcoin MYK is a way to get you into cryptocurrency, expose you to all these things, and you don't need to be limited by your knowledge of cryptocurrency. So as you can see here, Mellow Fan leaves a message. He says, how does this work? I earn by posting, right? So think about it for a minute, right? What if all your social media activity and the attention, value, and energy that you do, even you guys who respond to the videos and putting out energy to respond to content, what if that made you cryptocurrency? What if that minted you cryptocurrency? What if a miner basically on the platform were those things, right? The distribution mechanism was linked to that through an algorithm, right? We call proof of participation. That predates Zen, right? So what if that all those things were there? Okay, so this is what would happen. So in answering this question, yes, you earn logging in, right? Adding friends, posting, making groups, visiting pages and profiles, choosing an avatar photo. Pretty much everything you do, it's an attention value driven project. This also decentralizes the project. You go to your menu, click on wallet, and it breaks down everything you're earning on. And welcome aboard. So let's do that. Let's take a look at the wallet to see what we're talking about here. All right, so when I click on wallet, it shows earnings of what, basically it's transparency of wallets. You can see earnings of what people are doing, and so on, right? You get down here, we can see Mellow Man's wallet. Now, when you're logged in, it's just going to show your transactions, right? So Mellow Fan would just see his transactions. He's updated his profile. He earned cryptocurrency for that. He earned for viewing the page. He got like 10 for being a member, and so on. And it goes on and it breaks down what he's doing. The system is intuitive enough to know what he's doing on social media, and he's getting the points and such for that. And so this is the reason this is a solution to something like Ethereum or Pulsechain or something like that. Not because basically Bitcoin MYK will have a presence on Pulsechain, but it is a multi-chain cryptocurrency that is a reflection of all the activities on the chain, right? Let me say it again. If you have coins on one chain, those chains are burned on one and sent over to another, right? So basically, you have exposure to multiple blockchains, right? You don't. It's not like having coins on this chain and that chain, and you have a match or a copy. This is the same coins exist on all chains, right? On all chains we're on, And Bitcoin NYK's direction is being mostly on free chains, but we are on some chains that, uh, we try not to be. I think the highest one we're on is probably like Polygon. As far as transaction fees, other than that, that's probably the highest because it's one of these, you know what I mean, these type of platforms. But Mellowfan could actually uh, earn the coins, distribute the coins, and do all of this uh, off the post chain, right? Understand what I'm saying? Off the post chain, but they will still be reflective on the post chain. What would happen is the actual transaction fees as such would only occur when he wished to take those coins off of post chain. Does that make sense? So it's almost like you could think of it almost it feels like a fork, but it's not a fork, right? It's just that you have the same exact ledger inheritance for your Bitcoin NYK on post chain that you would have, and that's just for Bitcoin NYK that you would have in the Bitcoin NYK project. So if I'm a new person, I don't have the fees or the post to get on post to use or anything like that. I could use it here, and those coins would exist already on post chain. Now, when I got to, if I wanted to get those coins, right, then I would have to go into transaction fees as such, right? But a ledger balance would exist of that right now. So what would happen next is, so what I could do is I could just jump from chain to chain and move it to a less chain, right, and such, right. And so this is for scaling. That works great for scaling, but it also helps transactions on the post chain, right? So you're not able to use it at all, right? So what I think post chain, why it's not the end for post chain, is because these projects like this that are going to be part of the post chain are still going to be useful to people, and they may not depend on doing transactions every day. It may not depend on doing them every 5 minutes, or and they could be so valuable it may not matter so much the transactional costs, right? In that regard, or you could just move them to the free chains, the free that we are using, and move them for that. So I think projects like that are going to happen, are going to pop up as such, and that could be good for the post chain, right? But in the regard, but if you're not using something like Bitcoin and 1K, yeah, then you're going to have a problem because you're going to basically have the same situation like you had on Ethereum, right? So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts and questions. Glad to see that people are really seeing this common sense approach to crypto and joining us, and I could I wouldn't find it unrealistic to believe we're going to end up with like 2 billion users, right? Whether that be in 5 years or 10 years, I think that that's going to happen, which is going to create a lot of value and growth in this particular project. But anyway, we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. Do you feel post-chain has failed? Do you think that you're ever going to be able to really do transactions for fractions or pennies? Or do you think realistically post-chain now just moves in the area of $10 a transaction, $20 a transaction? And you also have to remember ideas like post-chain are predicted to go up 10,000%. 10,000x, right? And some are predicting as early as a couple of years. So is it realistic to think that you're going to be having low fees on post chain? I mean, even if you're doing a half a post at that point in time, you're probably doing a transaction for $5,000-$10,000. But anyway, that's all I want to say in this video. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Don't forget to join Bitcoin NYK today. It's free. A link should be in the description. Till next time, take care.